Let's begin with a puzzle. You're in a room full of people in the 1880s. A well-dressed gentleman leans on his walking stick. A lady adjusts her elaborate hat with a long, sharp pin. By the fireplace, the tools stand ready. Now imagine the lights go out. In the chaos, who in that room is armed? The answer will surprise you, potentially all of them. Because in the Victorian era, the line between a common tool and a deadly weapon was as thin as the edge of a hatpin, and just as sharp. Today, we're not in a bunker. We're in a parlor. We're uncovering the secret history of self-defense that hid in plain sight, not on the battlefield, but in the drawing room. This is the art of the elegant, everyday arsenal. The Victorian mindset was fascinating. Public violence was crass, but personal security was a quiet necessity. The solution was plausible deniability and multifunctional design. An item had to be socially acceptable, beautifully made, and capable of switching from tool to weapon in the beat of a heart. This wasn't about stockpiling, it was about intelligent, daily carry in a society that frowned upon it. It was the original gray man concept, but with top hats and corsets. Alright, a riddle to set the tone. I am a gentleman's constant companion, yet I am not his friend. I support him in peace, but in conflict, I have a sharp tongue. I am seen by all, but my secret is known only to my bearer. What am I? If you're thinking of a certain accessory, you're on the right path. Let's unravel it. Our first hidden weapon is the walking stick or sword cane. This is the masterclass in disguised defense. Not every walking stick was a sword cane, those were for the truly prepared. But every good walking stick was a weapon. The design principles were universal. First, the handle. It was often made of a heavy, dense material, like horn, polished stone, or lead-weighted silver. This wasn't just for show, it was the business end of a striking tool, a head knocker. A sharp, swift rap from that handle to a temple or wrist could be devastating. Second, the shaft. It was made of strong, flexible hardwood like hickory or ash. This wasn't just for walking, it was for parrying. Practitioners of Bartitsu, the early Victorian mixed martial art that combined cane fighting with jiu-jitsu, trained to block blows, disarm opponents, and thrust with the ferrule, that metal tip at the bottom. A thrust to the instep or kneecap would drop anyone. The sword cane was the ultimate evolution, a slender, rapier-like blade hidden within a shell of respectability. The modern application isn't about carrying a sword cane today, that's often illegal. The application is in the principle, an item you have with you every day, that is socially unremarkable, but is sturdy, weighted, and that you have mentally rehearsed using. Is it a sturdy flashlight, a heavy-duty tactical pen, a solid metal water bottle? The Victorian gentleman would understand perfectly. It's about the mindset, not the museum piece. Now let's talk about an even more discreet and terrifyingly simple weapon, the lady's hatpin. In the late 1800s, women's fashion involved massive, elaborate hats. These were secured to intricate hairdos with hatpins, long, sharp needles, often 8 to 14 inches in length. And they were lethal. Newspapers of the time are filled with stories of women using them to fend off attackers on the street, in omnibuses, and in parks. The 14-inch rule was real. Some cities actually tried to ban hatpins over a certain length because they were so effective. The technique was simple. A swift, jabbing strike to the hands, face, or arms of an assailant who grabbed you. It was a tool of last resort that turned a fashion necessity into a potent equalizer. It granted reach and a sharp, penetrating point. The modern parallel isn't a hatpin. It's the principle of a key. Held properly in your fist, with keys protruding between your fingers, you replicate the exact same jabbing, discouraging technique. Or, more in line with the theme, it's any long, sturdy, pointy object that is innocuous in your hand until it's not. A knitting needle, a compact umbrella with a sharp tip, a rolled-up magazine thrust into the throat. The hatpin teaches us that effectiveness often lies in simplicity and the courage to use what you have. Riddle answer time. The answer, of course, is the gentleman's walking stick, a public symbol of dignity and a private promise of defense. Our third hidden arsenal wasn't carried, it was stationed. The fireplace set, the poker, the tongs, the shovel. In a Victorian home, if an intrusion happened at night, the master or mistress of the house didn't run to a safe. They ran to the hearth. A fireplace poker is, for all intents and purposes, a short, heavy club or a thrusting iron rod. It's made of solid steel, perfectly weighted, and with a hooked end for trapping or disarming. The tongs could be used to grab, pinch, or bludgeon. These were not just tools. They were the designated, socially acceptable home defense items of their day, placed in a central location in the main room. Everyone knew where they were. The modern equivalent? Look at your own living room. What heavy, solid object is within arm's reach of your favorite chair? A sturdy lamp, a cast iron bookend, a heavy glass decanter. The Victorians didn't see a fireplace set. They saw a strategically placed armory. You should look at your home with the same eyes. What innocuous, heavy objects reside in your strategic corridors? This is about environmental awareness, turning your domain into a field of advantages. The ultimate lesson from the Victorian parlor isn't about replicating antique weapons. It's about cultivating a mindset of police preparedness. It's the quiet awareness that the tools for your security are often already around you, if you have the wit to see them and the will to understand their use. It's about elegance, subtlety, and the deep understanding that true readiness doesn't always look ready. It looks normal, it looks polite, until the moment it absolutely doesn't. So walk through your home today, not as a modern person, but as a Victorian strategist. Look at the items you lean on, the items you wear, and the items that adorn your rooms. See them not for what they appear, but for what, in a moment of desperate need, they could become. That is the hidden, sharp wisdom of the past, and it's just as pointed today.